In the new taxi park, passengers were waiting for transport. After getting information on police operation, taxi operators staged a demonstration heading to Clock Tower but were stopped by police. There was an operation on transport guidelines led by Commander Operations KMP Ivan Nduhura and DPC. These never gave up but proceeded to CPS to ask for their taxis. Police blocked them at Mutasa Kafero, impounding more vehicles. The commander traffic was in the middle of the city and blacked off number plates. In Luzira, taxis were rare because the number allowed to operate was small.
It shall not be safe at all when these young men who are in their 20s, who have nowhere to eat, who have nowhere to work, are being pressed hard when for us we are driving our cars, our private cars. They will waylay us, they will attack us in our fences. So let's wake up, let's be realistic. As the country is being reopened, let us consider all the sectors.
At Boyogerere Joker's stage, there erupted a fight among taxi operators. Bwaise, Kalere, Kawempe stages had no taxis. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting. Operations of public transport that include taxis and buses have commenced following lifting lockdown on public transport. Although passengers waited for transport, they were disappointed. Those using Pioneer buses at City Square were boarding, although the fare was high. Drivers of these buses complied with transport guidelines.
Embera ya gundi ya COVID yerese bino.
Embera yeyo atunyiga naye katugenderemu awo itali kyakola kyaja. Aba tusera batunyige.
At Pioneer Mall, taxis Fontinda and Nigeria route had parked and passengers boarding.
Kuva entindo okujjano 13. Okuva ekyalo wajalo okujjano 15,500.
Tusaba gavumenti yetuke ebiyingiremu. Elime kunyigiriza abafe bantu ba wansi. Wakire tuterewo etambule za government eyamba omuntu wa wansi.
Chisenyi bus terminal passengers were stranded with very few buses.
Bombo, Kampala Road, Dinya Road, Lugogo Nakawa, Tinda.
The resumption of public transport has been slow in Kampala City compared to pre-lockdown when 14-seat matatus jumped the streets of Kampala. Today, only a small number could be seen plying different routes. Drivers attribute the low numbers of taxis on stringent guidelines and difficult registration requirements. The guidelines are too stringent and the requirements are too many. We request the relevant authorities to look into this matter to allow our colleagues to come back and work. Some of them, their licenses expired during the lockdown and up to now they have failed to renew.
Yeah, the requirements are they need a PSV, they need a driving permit for the driver, NIN number for the owner of the vehicle and NIN number for the driver, then the photocopy of the card.
The resumption of PSVs has been billed as one of the essential services as it enhances movement. However, there are a couple of challenges: reduced number of passengers per vehicle, hiked fares, and the ongoing curfew could limit the relevance of commuter vehicles.
Despite the fact that public transport resumed today, something that I noticed is that majority of the public heading to the central business district preferred to walk, and this aroused by curiosity.
I don't have the money. I have it, but I preferred walking because I've been waiting for the taxis because I woke up at 6. But I tried to wait for one. All of those that came by were already loaded and they were full, so I couldn't get one and I had to reach the destination in time. So it became so hard for me.
Some taxi drivers who either ignored or didn't understand the new guidelines found themselves on the wrong side of the law.
So I didn't understand the route details. So now they have told me here and I haven't understood it. I was asking for a hundred forgiveness because I dreaded people going to Chihuahua today.
There's nothing. Let that take the first given.
Public transport vehicles that resumed operations complied with COVID-19 health and safety guidelines, in addition to having the directed number of only 10 people on board, including the driver and the conductor.
Public transport has resumed for the first day after nearly 3 months of lockdown. At this time, the taxi park was nearly empty, with few taxis ready to transport passengers. Taxi operators within the park were placing hand-washing facilities for people accessing the premises to wash hands. Every passenger boarding a taxi was sanitized and had a mask. Half capacity was also observed for those leaving. Taxis operating within the city had to wait longer hours to get half capacity of passengers. Transport fares have been hiked to compensate free seats in the vehicles since price of fuel remains the same and the distance covered.
Right now gumubiri. So wali olugero lugamba abali enswa musasire ekiswe kizimbe enswa. Abali enswa musasire ekiswe kizimbe enswa. Tutuyina sente ngapa abasabaze. Petubeza taxes. So sizabwe ngababuzi.
Whereas public transport has resumed, many people are stranded in the new taxi park simply because there are no taxis to take them to their destinations, especially those traveling to rural areas.
So by the time the president announced this lockdown, all vehicles had gone to the village. Now they're supposed to come to register with the KCCA. Unfortunately, they are being held by police all along the way.
Why are they holding these vehicles? Is it because of the third party and PSV?
No. They are holding them or arresting them because they don't have the KCCA stick and including the Ministry of Works.
Those stranded were planning to walk back to their respective starting points.
If no taxis are coming, then I will go back. You know, the transport I'm going to use now, the expense is too much when I keep staying here than to go. Because in the village at least, things are somehow good than in town.
Regardless, people continued entering the park with luggage in anticipation of setting foot to their destinations. There was no any taxi containing the new features as per the new KCCA guidelines. Operators fault Kampala Capital City Authority for not having a clear position on the matter. Every taxi must have a number and color for a specific route, and Kampala Capital City Authority has already issued route guidelines. Taxi leaders, however, want KCCA to expedite the issue of rerouting as they have fears of limited operation.
If you register that I'm going to work from Busega to Metiana, you're not supposed to go to town or to Kampala. Therefore, it affects the unity that actually Metiana stage had.
What remains unclear to taxi operators is how they will operate while curfew is still on.
Let me tell you, those are peak hours. These are times when people are closing up their shops, planning to go home. And I can tell you also know that during those peak hours, people are always in the park, standing, stranded, jam is like a jam, trying to look for ways of going back home. And you are telling people that by 7, you must be home. So that means that these vehicles are supposed to park at exactly 5. Because even before our comeback, jam has been on the streets. Jam have been in Kampala.
The reopening of public transport has attracted a mammoth of people in the city, which has made it hard to observe social distancing.
As these passengers board buses and taxis to different destinations, they have to pay 100% more fare than they usually do. According to the transporters, this increase is meant to cover for costs of traveling with half-board number of passengers.
We cannot add more money because we are help people. Yeah, because people is suffering because of corona. Yeah, I'm carrying we are carrying food.
Water containers for hand washing are within the entrance to the parks. Every passenger and money are sprayed with hand sanitizers before boarding. Some passengers are traveling due to emergencies that require their presence.